be a human rights defender in India is a very critical thing. So the situation and the political climate is very, very risky and really not good for any human rights defender. However, we are very hopeful because human rights work is always a collective work and not an individual work. This collective work and support and solidarity from fellow human rights defenders and civil society organizations remind us of the fact that we are not alone in this battle, and this is the hope that keeps us going in this very risky work. The principal perpetrators of torture, of course, in India are the police personnel who are right from the higher level to the lower level. And of course, there are the forest officials who also involve in extrajudicial killings. There are many cases there they have shot down agricultural laborers and poor tribals who simply ventured into the forest for simple reasons. And there are the other set of perpetrators who belong to the armed forces, who are, of course, empowered by the Armed Forces Special Powers Act of 1958, who have gotten unfettered powers to inflict all kinds of torture on people. And the Manipur conflict is a great example. And several other national level investigation law enforcement agencies have been also involving themselves in brutal torture of the common man, and in particular people who take up this human rights work. The context in which the torture occurs is of multifaceted reasons. One is, of course, the non-ratification of UNCAD, the absence of a municipal law, but the primary reason is more historical, political, and social. In 1870, when the Britishers ruled us, there was this Criminal Tribes Act which was enacted, which labeled certain tribal communities in India as born criminals who are still being subject to torture. And there's 1860 Police Act that the British police used to inflict brutal forms of torture on people. And there's a lot of evidence in the historical context that torture has been deeply entrenched in the system of police officials and the authority, the bureaucracy in general. And even today, people who belong to the underprivileged, economically underprivileged and socially underprivileged classes are being dragged into police stations just like that and being subjects of torture in day-to-day policing. There is this summer camp initiative that we've been doing for more than 20 years now. A summer camp exclusively meant for children belonging to victim families of police abuse. These children who are traumatized for life, who are unrecognized anywhere in the criminal justice process, are being taken and brought together in these summer camps that we conduct annually, and we conduct psychosocial and psychological support to them. We conduct a lot of cultural, sports, and relaxing activities that bring them back to their childhood. And then they are put together with many children who have come across the same kind of past in their lives. They feel that they are not alone. We get encouraged and motivated by the simple fact that there are victims out there in the street. There are victims out there unheard by the government. And those people, when they come to us and they say that if not for your work, we would not have ever imagined us being or marching forward in this path to justice. And when they give us that word of support and sense of connection that they've been able to, the victims have been able to build with me, is something that I really hold very close to my heart.